Hey there, fellow adventurers! This is Advent Traveler, and today we're exploring a serious and fascinating demographic trend. The country's experiencing the fastest population decline in 2024. Before we dive into this important topic, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to join our community of global insight seekers. We'll examine how factors like aging populations, migration patterns, and socioeconomic changes are reshaping nations around the world. Now let's explore these significant changes happening across the globe. Bulgaria leads our list with one of Europe's most dramatic population declines. Since the 1990s, this Balkan nation has lost nearly 20% of its population. The current decline rate is around 0.7% annually, driven by both low birth rates and significant emigration to Western Europe. The average age is 45 years, making it one of the oldest populations in the world. Rural areas are particularly affected, with many villages becoming ghost towns. The government has introduced policies to attract young families, including housing incentives and family benefits, but the trend continues. Experts project that by 2050, Bulgaria could lose another quarter of its current population. The impact is visible in schools and businesses, with many closing due to the shrinking population. Latvia's population has been shrinking significantly since regaining independence in 1991. The country loses about 0.6% of its population annually. The primary factors are low birth rates, with an average of 1.5 children per woman, well below the replacement rate of 2.1, and substantial emigration to other EU countries. The capital, Riga, has lost nearly 20% of its residents since the 1990s. Despite having one of Europe's fastest-growing economies, young people continue to leave for higher wages in Western Europe. The government has implemented programs to attract return migration, including tax incentives and support for young professionals, but challenges persist. Efforts to revitalize local communities and promote cultural heritage are ongoing, aiming to create a more attractive environment for residents and returnees. Croatia's population decline has accelerated since joining the EU in 2013, which opened up opportunities for free movement. The country loses approximately 0.5% of its population annually. Rural regions are particularly affected, with some areas losing up to 70% of their young population. The average age is rising rapidly, now over 44 years. Despite beautiful coastlines and growing tourism, economic opportunities remain limited for young professionals. The government has introduced measures including subsidies for first-time homebuyers and increased child benefits, but the combination of low birth rates and ongoing emigration continues to challenge population stability. Cultural initiatives aim to retain the younger generation, but the impact remains to be seen. Lithuania faces one of the Baltic region's most severe population declines, losing about 0.5% annually. Since joining the EU, nearly a quarter of the working-age population has emigrated, primarily to the UK, Germany, and Scandinavian countries. The national birth rate has fallen to 1.6 children per woman, while the median age continues to rise. Cities like Vilnius maintain some growth, but rural regions are severely depopulated. The government has launched ambitious programs to attract young families and returning emigrants, including tax breaks and startup support. Despite these efforts, reversing the trend remains a significant challenge for Lithuania's future. Japan's population decline represents a unique case, driven almost entirely by natural decrease rather than emigration. The country loses about 0.4% of its population annually. With the world's oldest population, with a median age of 48.4 years and one of the lowest fertility rates at 1.3 children per woman, Japan faces distinctive challenges. Rural areas are particularly affected, with some regions losing essential services as populations dwindle. Despite being a technological powerhouse, traditional attitudes toward work-life balance and gender roles contribute to low birth rates. The government has implemented extensive programs to encourage childbearing, including subsidized childcare and parental leave. However, these measures have yet to significantly reverse the trend, leaving Japan to navigate a complex demographic future. Moldova's population decline of about 0.4% annually stems from both emigration and low birth rates. The country has lost approximately 25% of its working-age population since independence. Economic challenges drive many young people to seek opportunities in Russia or the EU. Rural communities are particularly affected, with some villages populated almost entirely by elderly residents. The average birth rate has fallen to 1.3 children per woman, while emigration continues to drain the young workforce. Despite government initiatives to improve economic conditions and attract return migration, the country struggles to compete with opportunities abroad. The government has launched several programs aimed at boosting the economy and encouraging young people to stay, but the allure of better opportunities in other countries remains strong. The challenge of reversing this trend continues to be a significant hurdle for Moldova's future. Romania's population decline of about 0.4% annually represents one of the EU's most significant demographic challenges. Since joining the EU in 2007, an estimated 3.4 million Romanians have emigrated, primarily to Italy, Spain, and Germany. The country's birth rate has fallen to 1.6 children per woman, while the population ages rapidly. Rural areas face particular challenges, with many villages becoming uninhabited. Despite economic growth and government initiatives to attract return migration, including tax incentives and startup support, the trend continues. Efforts to preserve cultural heritage and engage the youth are also underway, aiming to foster a sense of community and belonging. Serbia's population decreases by approximately 0.3% annually, driven by both low fertility rates and emigration. The average age is rising rapidly, now over 43 years, while the birth rate has fallen to 1.5 children per woman. Rural areas are particularly affected, with some regions losing over half their population since the 1990s. The country faces significant brain drain, with highly educated young people leaving for Western Europe. Despite government programs offering financial incentives for families with children and attempts to attract return migration, the population continues to decline. The impact is particularly visible in the healthcare and education sectors. Cultural and social structures are also under strain, as communities shrink and traditions fade. Ukraine's demographic challenges predate current events, with a long-term decline of about 0.3% annually due to historical factors. The country has one of Europe's lowest fertility rates at 1.2 children per woman, combined with significant emigration to Poland and other EU countries. Rural depopulation has been particularly severe, with many villages becoming abandoned. The aging population creates additional pressure on social services and healthcare systems. Despite government initiatives to support families and attract return migration, the demographic trend remains concerning for long-term economic development. Cultural and community initiatives aim to strengthen national identity and encourage younger generations to stay and build their futures in Ukraine. Portugal's population decline of about 0.3% annually represents a growing challenge for Southern Europe. Despite being a developed EU nation, the country struggles with one of Europe's lowest birth rates at 1.4 children per woman, while the median age rises above 45 years. Coastal cities maintain some growth, but interior regions face severe depopulation, with some areas losing over 40% of their population since 1991. Young Portuguese increasingly emigrate to other EU countries seeking higher wages, contributing to the ongoing demographic shift. The economic challenges and job market conditions further exacerbate the population decline, raising concerns for Portugal's future. And there you have it, adventurers, an important look at how demographics are reshaping our world. These population changes aren't just statistics, they represent real challenges and opportunities for communities and nations. If you found this exploration of global demographics interesting, don't forget to check out our channel for more insightful content about our changing world. Thank you so much for watching,